kitties. And lots of thanks for everybody who helped us so much. Beth was my biggest helper this week. I could not have gotten all this done. She was right in there getting the pictures and helping me get a lot of information, and I dearly appreciate that. Bill and Angie, thank you. And Lynette and Canton helped us with information. Just me, Ellen, Pat, Wavy, and Sonia also helped me with information. And if I forgot somebody, I'm really, really sorry. Special thanks to Margot F., Paula A., and Barb W. They, instead of picking a cat, they just sent some funds in to help with our, this is a fundraiser. And also a big thanks to Jan from Hawaii. We've got pizza coming later this afternoon, compliments of her. Hawaii, yeah, it's being flown by Hawaii. It's plain. And a big thanks to all of you who put in requests for the cats. You are the ones that have made this event possible. And we do have 150 stories to tell you. During the Catapalooza, us here will not be keeping track of the chat. We're going to try to keep these stories going one after the other. But the chat will be up. But if you have questions, this is what we would like you to do. Jot them down on a paper with a paper and pencil. Jot them down, and at the end, we'll open it up for questions. So if you have a question about something, that's when we'll do it, is after this is all over. The mods are going to just do their regular mod thing, and we're just going to keep on trucking along here. I would also like to think that the information, the stories that you're going to hear is 100% right. That's what I've strived for. But if I've got a date wrong or a little bit of something wrong, just overlook it and just take the whole story for what it is. But I'm going to say 99.9% of it is actual and factual. For the cats that have been requested and are here in the rescue center, we will do our best to show those. Now, obviously, we're not going to show the ones that would rather be a little camera shy, and that's quite all right. We don't want to stress any of the cats out. But on all of the pictures, or all of the stories except 2, I think, we have pictures to show you. So, get comfortable, grab a Snackers, a human Snackers, a blankie, a pet, a drink, whatever it takes to enjoy the Catapalooza. It's fun and entertainment, and to learn about many of our cats. At the end, we're going to pronounce the top 2 cats with the most requests, and they will receive a gorgeous crown that Angie made for them. They will also get a super yummy snack to be shared by all of the cats, and a special melon of some sort, snack or two, for the kitties. And I'd also like to say thank you for caring. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for giving to us in so many different ways. And thank you for trusting and believing in what we do here. And I also want to say thank you for knowing that every cat does matter. Just to kind of give you a rundown, we had 303, we had 307 tickets, I guess you could say, or votes that came in. And our total is actually $2,315. $2,315. And the reason that's higher than what you would do by multiplying the votes by 5 is we had some people, instead of doing $5, they did 10. And we had one person that was very generous and donated even extra above that. So it's 2,315, and I am beholden to you all for doing that. And I get the pleasure of reading the first story. And I'm going to scoot over because the cat is the one that's important. And the story I get to read is Trucker. And remember, I promised you all a surprise. This is your surprise. Trucker, what can we say about this boy but that his personality just shines? He is a little kitten that had gone through more than what most cats have to endure, and yet he is fine. Mentally, emotionally, and physically, he is just fine. His heart shines through everything about him. Because of his leg problems, the family wanted to relinquish him to FFRC. We, of course, talked to them about the importance of spaying his mama. He was just 6 weeks old. His rear legs were stiff, like sticks, jutting up in front of him. Sometimes when he would eat, his back feet would be up by his ears. Those legs were a nuisance to him, always in his way. If he wanted to go to the right, they would swing to the left. If he wanted to get into the litter box, they would poke the box, making it hard to get in. Sometimes getting a drink was darn near impossible. The back legs would bang into the dish in front of him. It was time to do something about this. We talked to our vets about this, and they were in agreement that those two back legs could be removed one at a time. He would do just fine without them, and actually much better. Well, October was his surgery month. On 10/15, his right leg was removed, and 2 weeks later, just this past Wednesday, his left rear leg was removed. He wasn't even home but a few hours, and he was already zipping around, unencumbered by those stiff legs. And remember, he got in trouble on the way home because he wouldn't sit still. The next morning, in protest of being in his pen, he climbed to the top of it by using his front legs. This kitten is going to do just fine in his life. He is a tough one, full of fun, filled to the brim with love, enjoys an adventure, and is everyone's friend. Here's an update all of you may be interested in. Trucker will be a permanent friend. He's an... The reason is his potty problems. Due to his brain not connecting all the way with his full bladder, he has accidents. We call them his trucker trails. It's fine here. It's easy to clean up. So he now is Trucker FFRC Moss. You are home now for keeps, Trucker. Okay, and we're going to keep on going.
Jackie will do, since she has Mary right there, the next second best.
Yeah. Well, Zelda, you know.
No. Second best. Okay, our next kitty is Mary. This is an amazing cat. Mary and Jersey came together to FFRC from Long Island, New York. Jackie went to retrieve them. Both cats were victims of a hoarder situation. A wonderful person named Mary stepped up and rescued them and then asked for help for these two cats. Our Mary is spelled Merri. They had lived in a basement in cages until the human Mary stepped in. An overnight stay on the way home meant that Mary and Jersey had to spend the night in the bathroom, but it was made very cozy. Mary was amazing and knew that Jersey was so scared. She spent much of the night hunkering over Jersey, protecting him. You could see him relax with Mary so close. This went on for the first week of the arrival to FFRC, Mary being the protector. As Jersey became a little braver, Mary let up on her job. She now cruises about the entire rescue center and is such a joy. She loves her snackers. She may not like to get her ears cleaned or her nails trimmed, but that's okay. She is so proud of herself when she's able to climb up the Coranda towers. You can see it in her face. Her favorite person is Elizabeth. When Elizabeth is here, Mary is truly the happiest. And Mary was born on 4/4/07, and she arrived at FFRC on July 16, 2013. So that's Mary's story.
ING, did you get the names on that?
I'm sorry. Yep. And our donators for Mary are Faithy M., Linda C., Donna W., Margaret K., Carl P., Brenda R., and Joni W. Thanks, guys.
And I forgot to do truckers. Trucker supporters is David P., Sylvia D., and Pamela C.
The next kitty is Shambali. Thank you, Susan E., for sponsoring him. Shambali was born Christmas Day, 2012, and came to FFRC 11/2013. A family found him outside all by himself. They decided they'd like to have him and did keep him for 5 to 6 weeks, but then the dreaded HBC, hit by a car. They weren't able to take him to the vet, so he was brought here. Nothing life-threatening, but many bumps, cuts, bruises, and lacerations. His right hip area had a large area that was open and no skin left to cover it. After cleaning and shaving this area, it was decided it would heal and slowly fill in. He also had a right front leg that was obviously fractured. This required x-rays and a surgery to pin it. Surgery was successful and the pin was pulled 6 weeks later, and he doesn't even have a tiny lip. Way to go, our vets. He also had almost every single toe bed bloody and open. It would be interesting to know how this happened. But now, all wounds healed, all is well in Shambali's world, and he's a happy Portuguese. He was not happy staying in all the time. He's a slick dude slipping out the door. He's become a special friend to me. He gets extra special privileges when I'm here because I love him. And he loves his special butch pad in the mailroom. So this is Shambali. I did. Okay, bud. You can go out now. Want to go outside, buddy?
Okay, next up is Forrest. Shannon, our volunteer, found this boy, another one all by himself and very hungry and in jeopardy of being hit by cars. He was just 17 weeks old when he arrived. He was a very hungry boy, filled himself up and then slept like a log. Other than his hungriness, he was in good shape. He's been neutered now and ready to find his new home, so yes, he's adoptable. Forrest is a handsome gray tiger in white. His white is like snowy white. He's so shiny and sleek. He's a good boy, very playful, and is friends with all the cats. He especially loves the Coranda Towers. He'll zip up one and zip down on another one. He's one of those that flies from catwalk to catwalk, but even though he's a fast boy, he slows right down when being held. He loves to be cuddled. Forrest was born April 25th of this year. He arrived here August 22nd. He's 17 weeks old. And thank you to Ann F. for sponsoring him for this event. He is a good boy, aren't you, Forrest? Yes.
Hi everyone, I am doing a cat that I always considered extremely special. Dovey girl. Look at her. She's absolutely adorable. Born October 9th, 2010. Everyone around here frequently called her Dovey girl. She was just an awesome cat. She stole the hearts of everyone here at FFRC when she arrived in 2012, another victim of those horrible leg traps. Both of her front legs were in the trap. Those traps sure caused so much suffering. Someone found her in the trap, though. They released her and brought her here to FFRC. She was a joy from the beginning, a real sweet girl. She did end up losing her front left leg due to the severity of the wounds. Her right front foot was affected, but with the help of our wonderful vets, they were able to save the foot and leg. She did lose one toe, though. She was very patient throughout her treatments. She was such a happy girl, and she loved the kitty cabana room. The sunlight, the bird feeders, the cushies, she enjoyed it all. Dovey girl would come towards people, sit up and back on her haunches, and reach her front leg out to show she wanted some pettings. A truly wonderful cat. A family came in, saw her, and fell for her. We talked, they prepared their home, and came and adopted her. We were all thrilled. The dove had her forever home. She arrived here November 16th, 2012. And today she was sponsored by Joanne C., William D., and Sheila H. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Wicked, I hope you're on. This is Juby. This was a very special, rewarding rescue. We had gotten a phone call from a person who was very upset about the condition of a kitten in a cage. She said this kitten had lived for a couple of months in a very small, dirty pen that was placed alongside the house in the weeds. Jimmy and Jackie decided to go over and check it out. Upon finding this kitten, indeed, as the lady said, in a small cage tucked back in the weeds, we approached the owner of the house. After some talking, he agreed to relinquish this kitten. To put it simply, this kitten was living in a small pen in horrible filth. The only food that was there was soggy bread. There was no water, and the collar was on him that was too tight. There was a small spot, about 8 inches by 8 inches, that this kitten managed to keep clean to sleep on. Completely broke our hearts. We named him Juby for jubilation. Juby was 7 months old, but weighed only 4.07 pounds. He received a double bubble bath just to get clean and to get rid of the fleas. Juby's personality started to shine. You would think that a cat that was forced to live like he did would be withdrawn, scared, afraid, but not Juby. He was ready to have some fun. He loved the toys, he loved to run, he loved to be petted. He just soaked up everything. He was pure joy to see him experiencing a life that was fun for a cat. When we received a message from Donia Wicked Wings, she would like to adopt Juby. I knew she would give him a wonderful home. Donia sends us pictures, and it's plain to see he is living the good life. Thanks, Donia. And here's a picture of Juby. And the donators were Judy L., Beth A., and Kim K. Thank you.
Next, we have Fremont. His date of birth is January 4th, 2013, and he arrived at FFRC January 9th, 2014. Fremont. We think 3/4 of Fremont's body is filled with heart. He is a mild to moderate cat with CH. This boy is one of the most lovingest cats ever. When he sees people, he so enjoys making a beeline over to them just to flop down on his side on their shoes. Fremont came here from Bowling Green, Ohio's Humane Society. Fremont was found on a county road near a farm and taken to the BG shelter. They were looking for a place that he could call home. We stepped in and said we could give that to Fremont. We're so glad he's here. There's not a day goes by that he doesn't make everyone happy. He also arrived with a case of lice and a corneal ulcer on his left eye. But his eye is healthy now, although he will always have a scar. And of course, the lice is long gone. Fremont, when he is called, can get his legs all synchronized so that he can move really fast. He knows he'll get some holding. His favorite toy is all of them. And we thank Faith M. and Doreen P.
Okay, next up is Thomas. And he's been sponsored by Susan W., Susie Pat, David P., Faith M., Doreen P., Farrell P., and Joni W. Thomas. This boy has an extra special place in our hearts. He's gone through so much in his lifetime. He looks like an older soul, but he is only 5 years old. We flew to New York and did a rescue on him and Joey, and also Kitty Cat, who has passed away. Thomas had been taken when he was a baby to a rescue in Staten Island. He was there for a few years. He actually was classified as a CH cat, and he had seizures from the beginning. Unfortunately, these seizures were not properly treated, and many times his seizures are very hard and long. The person that was to be caring for him ended up leaving the country. She had someone lined up to care for the cats for a few weeks until she was to be back, but that never happened. She never came back. No instructions, no nothing left to care for the cats. Jennifer and 2 other ladies stepped up and started finding homes for these cats. We talked to them, and it was decided that FFRC would take Joey, Thomas, and Kitty Cat, 3 of their cats that needed extra attention. The day before we were to get Thomas, he had a full-blown seizure that lasted for hours. Thomas came with instructions that he should have two different types of seizure meds twice a day. He was not stable in regards to his seizures. The reason is that the good rescue people who had helped him were not aware of exactly what meds he should be on until they clarified it with the vet. So he arrived here in pretty shaky condition. The first few weeks were tough as things were adjusting. Seizures happened, little episodes happened, but gradually things worked out for Thomas. It is Jackie's opinion that Thomas is not a cat with CH at all. She feels that he has had so many terrible seizures that it has affected his poor brain. We've talked with his vet we've talked about this with our vets. We have noticed that Thomas is prone to bladder infection, and when this starts, he has a little seizure. So we keep track of that also for Thomas. All in all, he has had very few seizures the last 5 months. We are quite smitten with this boy. He loves people. He loves to be held like a baby, as you can see. He gets lots of exercise because he goes back and forth many times a day from the main area to the thumper's room. Sometimes it must be 20 times a day, and that's not an exaggeration. But we don't mind. We rather enjoy watching him have fun. We love this boy. A special thanks to Jennifer from New York for helping all the cats that were abandoned. And that is Thomas's story. And he slept through it, didn't you? Yeah.
It's a good story.
I did it at the beginning.
Okay. Since Joey really doesn't like to be picked up, we're just going to go ahead and show his adorable picture. And hopefully a lot of you saw the video that was posted on the website, on the Facebook website, of Joey walking around and having fun in here the other night. Look at him. He's adorable. Joey, this boy that has truly warmed our heart. Joey was at a rescue house on Staten Island where his caretaker left. Yes, simply left. All the cats there were in trouble, but a wonderful person named Jennifer and 2 other ladies went in and saved them. They asked us if we could take 3 of these cats, and we did. Angie, Elizabeth, and Jackie went to get these 3 cats. Joey has a birth defect where he walks on his elbows. He was also petrified of everything. We found out that the deserted rescue place, he was in a cage in the basement in a very dirty environment. When he first came here, we couldn't make eye contact with him, or he would be so scared. Gradually, over time, we could look at him from a distance. All the time we would talk and talk to him. He slowly started to come to the front of Thumper's room. He loved a certain cat tower there. One day, we simply rolled him with him in it to Kitty Cabana. Hey, he thought that was pretty neat. He actually came out and stayed in the cabana for a day, but he started right back in if he became scared. At night, simply rolled him back into Thumper's room. After doing this for 4 or 5 days, we decided to leave him in the main area overnight, and he did just fine. Now, Joey can be seen everywhere. He loves his snackers, and he loves to have his chin rubbed and his fur petted. We just go slow around him. He's shiny and healthy. It's amazing with his legs, though. He's so coordinated that sometimes it's hard to tell he even walks on his elbows. He's simply wonderful, and we simply love him so much. He's come a long way, and all done with love and a willingness on his part. And he is a wonderful cat, and I have to share that when I'm here late at night, Joey will come out and you'll get a lot more interactive time with him. So when you come visit FFRC, make sure you're here like after 10 o'clock at night for some real special one-on-one time with Joey. And snackers, yes. Snackers is the key to it all. So that's our beloved Joey, who was sponsored by David Paul, Phyllis Barth, Donna W., Joni W., and Stanley E. Thank you, everyone, for sponsoring our beloved Joey.
Jolene. A man arrived at FFRC with a carrier. All that could be seen was a blob of stuck fur. This cat had come to his property the week before. He placed her in his garage and then realized she needed more help than he could give. So she arrived here at FFRC. This sweetie is an oldster, a calico Persian. Her fur was so completely matted that upon shaving her down, the majority of the fur pelt came off in one piece. Such a sad thing. I cannot imagine how hard it must have been to even walk with this cement-like coat on her. But it's off now, and we never want her to be like that again. Jolene has something special, too, about her fur. Her whole abdominal fur is curly. Yep, like it has a permanent. Sometimes we have to shave it to keep things nice and neat. She was already spayed. Why was this cat outside in the first place? I have no idea. It is beyond understanding. But she's doing great now. She's been with us for over a year already, and she's a happy girl. She also came here with severe gingivitis, but we've been able to keep that under control too. What a love, and she knows she's so welcome here. She has special rights. She can go wherever she wants, whether it's in the main area, Thumper's room, or the mail room. Her wish is our command. And Jolene is sponsored by Cassandra H., Pamela T., Jean M., and Diane E.
And she's asleep.
And she's asleep.
Kids are really bored with this.
Or very relaxed.
And I have the story of Kurt William. Thank you, Kathy and Glenn R., for sponsoring him. Kurt William, another HBC hit by car. Those cars sure do damage to these cats and kittens. He had a severely fractured right front leg. The fracture caused permanent radial nerve damage, and an amputation was required. As we know, we do not call these cats handicapped. They do just fine, and I don't believe it even enters their mind they are different. The beauty of cats. Kurt William ran, zipped, and climbed. He became a huge purr cat and could always be heard from different parts of the room. We had a family that had adopted Nebraska a while ago, and this family called and wanted to adopt Kurt William. A very nice happening. He had a lot of love to give. Kurt William was here for 7 months. Thanks, Andrea, for the home. Kurt William's birthday was 5/5/10. He arrived here 5/9/11 and was adopted 12/30/2011. This was Kurt William. And this was Kurt William in his favorite sweater.
With his tongue sticking out.
With his tongue sticking out.
Okay, I will do my best to do this one without crying. This is Intrepid, and we thank Ann P. Intrepid, poor baby, another hit by car. He really got banged up. He was found on the road. Some kind person picked him up and took him to Dr. P's office. They started the treatment program. His right front leg had a very long laceration and required sutures, and that was done. He had wounds on his head and a couple on his body. He also had a droop of one of his lower eyelids, probably from the side of his face that had been dragged. This resulted in a head trauma where he walked in tight circles. Each day he got better and better. His circling became less and less. He had eye surgery to pull the eyelid together so there wouldn't be such a gap. This also required a second surgery. When done, he looked wonderful. His bumps and bruises healed and the soreness went away. Next on the list of to-dos, play and play and play. I believe he was in the back with Canby, and they were good friends. And that's just what he did. He was such an agreeable fella. He loved people and so enjoyed being held. We lavished the love on him. Good news, we had someone interested in adopting Intrepid. He came over and met this wonderful cat and decided, yes, this is the right kitten for him. We heard back a couple of times from the owner and all was fine. Happy time for Intrepid and for the owner. About a month and a half after he was adopted, we received devastating news. Our Intrepid had passed away. The cause was unknown. This was so hard to understand, but we were very glad that this sweet boy, thank you, knew what a real home was. He had a wonderful short life here at FFRC, and then he broadened that to a home where he was loved there too. When you think of Intrepid, remember to always give your pets lots of love. His date of birth was April 11th, 2013, and he arrived June 13th, 2013, and was adopted December 7th, 2013.
Almost. This is Flair. This is a handsome orange-white male cat that arrived. He was already neutered. Because of his deep orange color, we thought Flair would be a good name for him. He was about a year old and is nice and very shy. His family moved to Florida, put him outside, locked the door, and left. The neighbor that brought him here said that Flair saw the family drive away. That's okay, we'll take him and help him to be happy. When he seemed at ease, we opened his pen door, but it took him days to come out by himself. Then we realized after a bit of time that Flair was not going to be happy inside. Too many cats, too close quarters, and the walls were too close. So we moved him into Kitty City to acclimate and see how he would do. He liked this so much better, but still wanted out. It's hard to make a cat understand that just because we want him to stay in for safety, that they should. Some cats simply will not be comfortable indoor surroundings, and if that's not what they're used to. And Flair told us plain and simple, he wasn't going to stay inside the building. He slipped out the door and out he stayed. Sometimes he's in the red barn, sometimes he's at our neighbors that feed the cats, sometimes he's up close to the porches. As long as he's happy, we're happy. This is Flair, and many thanks to Nigel W.
Okay, next up is our Miss Sally. Thank you to Faith M for this. Whoops, here, let me get over there so you can. Solly. Solly is one of our cats with CH. She is actually our second CH cat to come to FFRC. Steve and Jackie were visiting other rescue centers in Columbus, Ohio while attending the Ohio Veterinary Medical Association. Lots of education to be had by visiting other rescues. This wonderful cat rescue is called Cat Welfare. While sitting on the floor at Cat Welfare, along comes Solly and plops into Jackie's lap, and there she stayed. Her original name was Solitaire. We changed it.
Sorry.
She's not happy with the story. We changed it because we learned quickly that she was not a solitary cat. She loves people and other cats. I was told she had actually been adopted twice, but returned both times because people hadn't known what to expect with a cat with CH and was uncomfortable with it. She is a moderate CH level. She has learned through playing and walking and prancing how to spread her legs and keep her balance. Oh.
I think she's done with her story.
She does love a head rub, but not today. And she's crazy about bonita flakes. She arrived here with Cazzarelli. Her highlight of the day is in the morning after breakfast and after the first sweep and mop that she gets a small bowl of her favorite treats, Royal Canin baby kibbles. She gets so excited. So Miss Solly was, her birthday is September 8th of 2010, and she arrived here on my birthday, February 23rd of 2013.
Thanks, Sally.
She made it through most of it.
Okay, this is Kay Martina. She arrived at FFRC when she was just 4 weeks old. She was only 15 ounces. Oh, she looked so sad and miserable. Her left eye was completely prolapsed, and her right eye was terribly scarred. But there she was, sitting on the table, purring and rubbing on us. She was so tiny. Someone saw her at the Kmart parking lot in Bryan and took her to Dr. P's office. They called and asked if we would take her. Of course we would. She came, purred, ate, and slept for 2 weeks. She finally started feeling better, gaining weight and playing. When she was about 2.5 pounds, she made another trip back to the vet's office for her left eye to be removed. She did just great. She probably lost her eye, and the scarring of the other eye was probably caused by the herpes virus. This has turned out to be a chronic, lifelong problem for her. She's a Jackie's cat and is in the house. She's a gentle soul and so sweet. It's thought that she has 10% sight in her remaining eye. But, as with cats, she does everything and goes everywhere. She's friends with all the house cats. Her other friends in the house are Slick, Fergus, Devante, and Sherry. The Z's are Zesty, Zertle, Zap, Zany, and Zeke. Thank you to Janet S. Can I go back inside?
Okay. Jonah. Look at that face. And Jonah is sponsored today by Deborah K. and Rita M. Thank you. Jonah. Now, this is the beginning of the Coveys. Yes, Jonah was the first, along with his best friend Blossom. The Cat's Cove was originally designed to be a flight pen for hawks and owls when Jackie did wildlife rehabbing. When that time ended, this huge big pen was left empty, a perfect place for cats that had, shall we say, a few potty issues. Now, Jonah loved his new home. Spacious and redesigned for the cats, he soon called for others to join him. But we need to get back in time with Jonah. When he first arrived, he was just a wee tiny baby of 6 weeks. He had been hit by a car and left on the road. The next car that came by had seen the accident and stopped. They brought this little boy to us. His front leg was horribly fractured. We had to wait a bit of time till he gained weight for it to be removed. This boy is fast, faster than most four-legged cats. He loves to chase the peacocks, although he has great respect for them. Jonah makes a wonderful chirping noise. It's his call that it's time to pet him. Jonah is starting to show his age. He is now 15 years old. He looks a bit grayer in the face, but his spirit still is young and super fast. Jonah was born July 15th, 1999, and arrived at FFRC August 23rd, 1999. And he is an absolute doll and one that you have to make sure you go look for when you visit FFRC.
Oh, yeah, that's next.
Oh, you wanna, since
Yeah,
they
let's
have
do,
her-
let's do Tabitha.
She's not
She may not.
Tabitha's next, and we'll see how long she can stay in Phil's arms. Tabitha, poor girl, almost drowned when she was just 5 weeks old. We had a terrific storm, and Jimmy happened to be in town in Paulding. The rain had just stopped. He was in his car at a business and noticed a kitten trying to get out of the gushing water going through a drain pipe under the parking lot entrance. She was losing the battle when Jimmy finally got a hold of her and pulled her out. It was our Tabitha. We still have her, and she is available for adoption. She loves paper towels, and boy does she. She loves them so much that she has her own cabinet with a paper towel roll so she can pull them down whenever she wants. So clever of her. Tabitha has two-toned ears. Both are black and white like the rest of her. She's ready to brighten up a home with an adoption, but you better have a lot of paper towels ready. She's good with dogs, kids, and cats. Her date of birth is May 25th of 2012, and she arrived here June 28th of 2012. And a thank you to Susan E. and Jennifer S. for Tabitha for us to tell her story. She really is a nice kitty. Maybe she wants her paper towels. I don't know.
And she's available for adoption.
And she came in with
Tabby
two
says bye, bye.
That's right. Okay, now she's mad at us.
The next cat is Koharu and Peggy. Leggy gal, this one is for you. Koharu, a seal point Siamese with those beautiful eyes. She arrived here when she was 7 months old. She had belonged to a family and they moved. Instead of taking her with them, they simply put her outside and drove away. A neighbor brought her to FFRC. I can never understand how a family can do this. Once she settled in, she was a happy girl. She had a very short time in Thumper's room because she wanted in the main area so badly, and so we let her. She was here, there, and everywhere. Her name, and playing with everyone. She became a good friend to all the cats. Her name was to be given to a girl who is really sweet and makes us feel warm inside. This was the perfect cat to have that name. She was quickly adopted. Koharu was only here 3 weeks before she was adopted into a home. The family that took her had previously adopted Katrina from FFRC and still has her. Koharu's date of birth was 6/13/12. She arrived here 1/25/13 and was adopted 2/17/13. And she is a beautiful classic Siamese.
This story is about Peverly. A friend named Peverly of FFRC found Peverly the cat in Toledo when she was attending a conference. She was there at the door, asking politely to come inside. When the conference was over, Peverly the human brought the kitten to us. She was just 10 weeks old and such a pretty girl, a marble tiger with white. She appeared to be healthy, just very hungry. We can take care of that problem, and it wasn't long until Peverly had the FFRC belly. She was initially adopted in December, kept a couple of weeks, and then returned. No fault of Peverly, the family dynamics changed, and she was unable to keep her. She fit right back in with no trouble. She was such a beauty. Next, we heard from Pam and Rich, our FFRC friends from Colorado. They wanted to adopt her, but thought they'd have to wait until late spring due to the mountain snows. But they took a chance on the weather and came in March to officially adopt her. Peverly is still there, and they have given her a wonderful home. The pictures we have seen on Facebook shows a healthy, shiny, happy Peverly. Here's a picture, and thank you to Terry W.
All right. I picked this one because this is our precious Hoops and Yo-Yo. Their date of birth was February 16th, 2012. They arrived in April 2nd, 2012, and were adopted in March 13th, 2012. Hoops and Yo-Yo. They were born in a neighborhood and had a mama until they were 6.5 weeks old. Then the neighbor realized that no mama had been with the litter for a couple of days. They searched for her but could not find her. By that time, the babies were hungry. They brought the threesome to FFRC. There was Hoops, a very handsome long-haired white kitten, and then there was Yo-Yo, a medium long-haired tiger kitten. Jax was the third kitten. He was a medium-haired black tiger. When they arrived, their fleas were taken care of, and then they had their tummies filled. They grew, and all three developed a great play attitude, loved to run and act crazy like all kittens do. They were here when we had other litters, the Wee Three and the Fab Four. Talk about a group of crazy kitties. That would be these kittens. When they were about 3 months old, our volunteers, Bill and Angie, my parents, adopted Hoops and Yo-Yo. Their names are now Max and Zuri. Thanks to Bill and Angie for giving them this wonderful home. Zuri's name means beautiful in Swahili, and Max is Max for just being so handsome. There they are again. And we thank Marilyn S. for sponsoring them.
There he is. Look at that boy. This is Caden. He's our extra special dusty gold boy. FFRC received a call from our rescue friend Jennifer from Staten Island. She said the shelter there took in a kitten with special needs. He had his front legs crossed, was wiggly all over, and one of his rear legs was very short, missing the entire foot. And he was just a little 8-week-old kitten. It was thought his wiggliness was maybe being a cat with CH. FFRC said, sure, we'll take this kitten. Jennifer made the trip herself to bring Caden. She also wanted to visit with Thomas and Joey. Remember, she was a vital part of their rescue. Caden fit right in and immediately made many friends. As he grew, his front legs became stronger, no crossing of them. His front legs are sure and straight. Also, as he grew, his wiggles decreased to the point where they are no longer there. Obviously, he was never a cat with CH, just had temporary wiggles. His rear leg was a worry about maybe having to shorten it up higher so he wouldn't develop sores on the stump as he likes to still try to use it. What we found, though, is he keeps it hoisted up quite nicely. So right now, there's no surgery in his future. Yay for Caden! He is a sweetie, truly loves to play. He can run like the wind and even climb. He has boundless energy and love. Caden was born June 15th, 2014 and arrived here July 31st, 2014, and he is an absolute lover boy. Thank you very much to Faith M for sponsoring Caden today. You're so handsome.
Bye.
We're going to do Goosty, and somewhere or another we lost Goosty's paper, but you all know Goosty. Goosty is our little brown and gray tiger and white kitty, and when she came here to the rescue center, she was 5 weeks old. And this kitty, we rank fleas like on a scale of 1 to 4, and Goosty was 3 out of 4. Yes, you were buggy. And her left eye was protruding about 1 inch out of her eye socket. We did not show her for probably a couple weeks until it started receding back in. But we did, and you folks were all just wonderful about accepting her as she was. Her right eye is also pretty scarred, but she's doing really well. We had to wait until she was of weight to be able to do her eye enucleation, and that did happen, and we took her up there to Dr. Pettigrew's on the same day that they also did Trucker's first surgery. So they were cage partners up there and created havoc all the way up to the vet's office. Their pin was rocking and rolling. And then we also got her spay done. So she's actually at a point right now where she is adoptable, and there's really no real special restrictions on her because to her she sees everything that there is out there in that world. So this is Goosty, and her birthday is 7/26/14, and she is ready to have a home. It's a good girl.
All right. Next we have Anna Marie. Very special little girl. She came to us after someone found her outside bumping into things. She was a stray and they had never seen her before. Being worried about her getting hurt outside, they brought her to FFRC. At first, we didn't realize the extent of her problems, but by looking at her eyes, it was obvious that she was blind. We were patiently waiting for the next vet appointment to have her eyes checked. Then a little bump was felt on her forehead. It had to be a BB. So in she went right away for an x-ray. What a surprise. Not only was there the forehead bump, but inside her head there was deposited 60 to 70 bumps. And these were not BBs, they were buckshot. Probably shot at close range. Someone purposely meant to do her harm. After reviewing the x-rays, it was decided that the buckshot would have to stay where they were. It would be impossible to remove them. So Anna Marie came back to the rescue center where she settled in very nicely. She gained weight, and her fur became shiny and longer, and she was happy. Then she became even more happy when a person wanted to adopt her. It didn't matter that she was blind. They saw her heart. What a great ending and a new beginning for Anna Marie. She had arrived 7/11/13 and was adopted 3/21/2014. And we also have an update from her mama. I have had them 7 months now. On Anna Marie, it amazes me every single day how she is doing. She knows my big 2-story house so well. She has her own way of navigating, and it is wonderful to watch. She goes up and down the stairs like they are nothing. I swear she counts as she goes and turns on the landing to do the next set. She knows when the 2 landings are coming up, and she will lean over to the wall and go to the next step. She finds her toys and loves them. She finds her many beds and jumps up on the sofa or love seat to get into them. Then there are 2 on the floor that she will go in, sleep in also. She basically can beat me up the stairs when it is time for bed, and she is usually taking up the middle of the queen-size bed when I am ready to get in. She sleeps with me, and I must say, she snores very loud. But it is so cute. When I come home at night, she is sitting about 6 feet back from the door, looking all perfectly groomed, and waits until I say, "Hi, Anna Marie," and then she immediately drops to her side and does rollovers and roll over, and then lays on her back, feet up, waiting for me to pick her up. Then it is about 10 minutes of nonstop attention that she requires. I could not have imagined that she would adapt so well so quickly. She loves her treats and loves to be brushed, which is a good thing since her hair is now about 4 to 5 inches long. Very, very furry. So thank you to Tina F., Joanne C., and Julie C. Pretty girl again. And thank you for the update.
The kitty I had to tell you about is Dollyana, sponsored by Beth A. and Deb B. What a beautiful muted calico, full Persian she is. But when Dollyana arrived, she was shaved very short. She was only a year old, but came from a Persian breeder that was done with her. So sad. Sometimes in catteries, Persians, if used for breeding and done with the show circuit, are kept shaved so they don't have to be groomed. Before breeding, they have to prove themselves and so are shown to gather points. Many of these cats from the cattery are nationally and internationally known in the Persian world, as was Dollyana. But she wasn't being productive as a mama, so she wasn't needed. We were asked if we would take Dollyana. We were happy to and scheduled her for her spay. After her recovery, she proved to be a bit of a clown. It didn't take her long to love being out and about. She was used to cage life, but no more of that. She loved playing. She sure seemed to enjoy this kind of life. No cages, toys galore, and lots of petting. When Dollyana entered the main area, she came in at full speed straight to the toys. What a joy to watch her. And her fur started growing back. When we received a message from our good friend Deb 1111, she would like to adopt Dollyana. That would be an awesome home for her. Of course, we said yes. Deb is from Minnesota, and she made the long drive here to FFRC and adopted her on 6/10/12. She is doing awesome, looks stunning. Deb has given her a home that more than makes up for the way her life was at the beginning. And now there's nothing but good times. Heartfelt thanks to Deb for providing her such a home. She was born 4/15/2011, arrived here at FFRC 5/18/12, and was adopted 6/10/12. And this is the gorgeous Dollyana. Thanks, Deb, for giving her such a great home.
Here, Bill. We'll give her a little fast so she's here.
Because we can't always find her.
Okay, read fast.
Farah, what a little ball of white fudge when she first arrived. Farah was found in the woods by herself at just 7 weeks old. A woman found her and named her. Farah is a permanent resident. When she was a little kitten, she was given a certain medication that caused a severe reaction. Medicines are wonderful and they have their place in the world of rescue. But as with any medicines, cats can have reactions just like humans. This reaction caused her to have a seizure that lasted for a whole day. We're unable to get it to stop for way too long, hence she is now classified as a seizure cat. For the first 2 years, her meds were changed every once in a while, trying to find the correct dose to keep the seizures at bay. We have finally reached that goal. She gets a whole pill in the morning and a whole pill in the evening. Many times when it's pill time and she hears the rattle of the pill bottle, she takes off. She usually doesn't go far and then will peek at us to see if we have found her. It has now been about 2 years since she has had a seizure. There is a shoulder rider, especially in the mornings. Hence why she doesn't want to be picked up now because it's not morning. Her purr can be so loud that it can at times be heard on the cam. Her date of birth is May 16th of 2009, and she arrived here June 27th, 2009. And thank you to Peggy and Bernie G for sponsoring her today. And she's like with Zelda once in a while. She likes her. I gotta angle this just right. I'm not used to this. Sit on the boxes. A lot of times we'll find her up high above where she's been most of the day until we just nabbed you, didn't we?
You gotta feel
We love our Miss. We love our Miss Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I get to tell you about Austin. Thank you, Anonymous and Julie P. for sponsoring him. Austin is a Porchie. What a handsome black and white Porchie cat he is. He's all white except for his right eye and his tail. They are black. He's just a youngster adult, being just 11 months old this summer when he came in. Austin was brought to us when someone found him in their yard and he had a stinky tail. Ick, maggots. He was just the best cat ever, though, letting us bathe his tail several times and physically remove those icky maggots without any sedation. What a brave boy. After cleaning his tail up, we realized he had a horrible wound that caused the top part of his tail to have no feeling. The wound hurt the nerves. So a trip to the vet was in order. He came back to us with only about 2/3 of his tail left. And he looked like it looked like a bottle brush. He had fur part way up, and then it looked like a wire bottle brush. This just added to his cuteness. Austin was an outside boy all the way, as is the way sometimes with cats who haven't lived inside. He was most unhappy being inside. He just wanted to be a Porchie. He's one of our newest additions. He does this trick every single morning at breakfast. 2 towels are always put down for the plates to sit on. When the towels are flipped up and come down on the sidewalk, he slides right underneath them. It's a game to him, and he gets so much fun out of it. Of course, it always ends up getting him a back rub. Austin's date of birth is August 9th, 2014, and he came to FFRC July 21st, 2014. And he always reminds me of Piglet. He's always just a little bit messy, as is a white cat who's outside.